I want to go ahead and bring on my second guest, Jim Blandford. He is a realtor and sinkhole adjuster. He is with Anclote Key Realty. And in 1975, Jim became a claims adjuster and spent the next 16 years working for insurance companies. In 1992, he became a public insurance adjuster, utilizing his experience working for insurance companies to help individuals obtain a better settlement from those companies. He continued that career in Florida, handling primarily sinkhole claims on behalf of owners. It was soon after that when he became a realtor. Jim is so far the only realtor in the area that is also a licensed sinkhole adjuster. Jim has spent 25 years as a volunteer firefighter and EMT in Western New York and has been a guardian ad litem in Florida for 3 years. He is very active in local civil affairs and was fortunate enough to be selected by the West Pasco Board of Realtors as the 2013 Rookie of the Year. He is also a sales associate, as I said, with Anclote Key Realty here in Tarpon Springs. Jim, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to be here.
So first of all, I want to hear about this Rookie of the Year. How'd you obtain that?
It must have been a slow year for West Pasco. I was amazed when I got it. Basically, I'm real into what I do, especially as far as getting people a little more up to speed and educated on what's going on with claims in general, especially here in this area, sinkhole claims and real estate. And I jumped in an opportunity. Like I say, it's a great group. They're very receptive, and I've learned as much from them as I've tried to.
Now, when you were selected as Rookie of the Year, is that based on sales, or is that based on uniqueness of what you knew, or what?
I don't think it was sales, so it had to be uniqueness or something. I
didn't even know there was a Rookie of the Year award out there.
I didn't either till I showed up that night.
But then again, there's different MLSs out there. I myself, being part of the Greater Tampa Association of Realtors, I'm not a member of the West Pasco Board of Realtors, although we all share information and everything. So tell me a little bit about the sinkhole, the settlement and adjustment process that you were involved in.
Well, let me tell you basically why I'm here. I spoke to a broker about a week ago who's been in the business a long time, probably 30 years, and we got talking about sinkholes a little bit. She said, well, I won't sell a house that's had a sinkhole because you can't get insurance and you can't get a mortgage. And I said, time out. That's changed. That situation is improving. What I'm trying to do is bring everybody up to the current scenario, which is much better for anyone that's had a sinkhole, which makes it better for realtors, both as a buyer's agent and a seller's agent. The situation now, if you've had a sinkhole claim and you have proper documentation, and it's been repaired properly, and that's key, and you can prove it, that house is now very sellable. And matter of fact, Mike Wells, the Pasco County assessor, basically says that that home will bring 95% of what any home would bring on the market, and I think he might even be a little conservative. I'd like to think if you're in a neighborhood that is prone to sinkholes, and there's several, in the surrounding counties, it gets worse as you go north, but they're here in Pinellas as well, in Hillsborough, that it would be worth more than any home on the market, because if it's been fixed right, again, you're not going to have any problems in the future, and you probably wouldn't need sinkhole coverage anyway.
I'm always amazed at the stigma that even a repaired sinkhole property carries, because if I'm in an area prone to sinkholes, I want one that's been remediated versus one that is not, because there's always a possibility it's going to creep up on yours.
Yes, and that's an excellent point. If you've got a sinkhole home and it has been defined as having a sinkhole and it has not been repaired, you're going to take a real hit in value when you go to sell it, and rightfully so. And I would say that home, because now you're talking, depending upon the cosmetic damages, the damages above ground, and what the estimates are to fix the damages below ground, you could be taking a hit of 30 to 70% on the value of that home when you go to sell it.
Now, we were speaking before this show about, we use the word sinkhole and settlement kind of synonymously, but they're actually very different terms when we're talking about insurance settlements. Let's talk about the difference, between these two terms.
Well, settlement, look at Florida, all the houses are built on sand. You're going to get some settlement no matter what. And, people see driveways with cracks in them, and, years ago there were companies going around and telling you, look, you got cracks in your driveway, we'll get you a big settlement. Sorry. They're built on sand, they're going to crack, and that's the way it goes. A sinkhole claim, a sinkhole is something that's been defined by an engineer, tested, and the testing typically runs $7,000 to $10,000 and was usually paid for by insurance companies. And they've done these tests and determined, yes, now after all this, we can definitively say it's got a sinkhole.
And you're saying that the test is $7,000 to $10,000 just to see if you have a sinkhole. What constitutes actually having a sinkhole, though? Is there a certain amount of a cavity that has to be formed?
Well, no. As long as you have a cavity, basically. And I'm not an engineer. Florida's it's limestone at some point underground, anywhere from 20 to 100 feet, and then some. And when the acidity of the rain creates a hole in the surface, the sands and the soils on the surface, and down 10, 20 feet, it creates that hole. That sand and that soil drains through that hole like an hourglass, and then it creates an opening underground, and that would be a sinkhole in a simple definition.
And the one thing about Florida is, I mean, you may get your home, looked at one year and it's fine. The next year it could come up again, correct?
Yes, and the other thing is
you're never 100% safe. You just don't know.
Exactly. And sinkholes do not respect property lines. Chances are, if the neighbor had a sinkhole, there's a very good chance you might have one too. Conversely, if you have neighbors on both sides that have had sinkholes, yours might get filled up for free if they have them repaired.
Interesting enough. And what type of processes is used to remediate sinkholes? Is they just pump them full of concrete or grout, essentially?
That's one of the ways, and I don't think it's the more desirable way. The other one is called pinning. And pinning, again, to put it simply, if you're sitting in a room right now, let's consider the floor to be limestone, and the desk or the table you're at would be the surface of the ground, whether it be grass or a parking lot or whatever it is. Pinning is putting the legs on that table and connecting them to the limestone. Gives you a much more secure surface and a more solid repair.
I've always said it's kind of like putting the home up on stilts. You're pinning it to the bedrock.
There you go.
Pinning it to the bedrock.
And if you're going to buy a home that's had a sinkhole repair, you want to make sure that home has been pinned. I myself would have a tendency to stay away from something that's been grouted only.
Interesting stuff. Got to take a quick break, and if you're just tuning in, you've been listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins, WHNZ. Coming back from the break, we're going to be talking a little bit more with Jim Blandford about sinkhole adjustments and the insurance process. So please stay tuned. Be back in a moment.
Here's Jamie.
Hi again, everybody, and thanks for staying tuned in to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins, WHNZ. If you're just catching me on the air for the first time, I invite you to tune in every Mondays at noon as my show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate market. We're talking with Jim Blandford. He is a realtor with Anclote Key Realty, but has a lot of experience in sinkhole claims adjustments. So we've been talking all about sinkholes here in this last segment. And Jim, I want to talk a little bit more about what happens when somebody files a claim and they get the insurance proceeds. Are they required to actually fix the home?
Now we're going to break this down to sinkhole and non-sinkhole claims. And a sinkhole claim, yes, they are. They're required to fix the home, and you don't have a whole lot of choice there. If it's a limits loss, if they pay you all your money, if you got a $300,000 policy and you get the $300,000, they cannot make you fix the home. But anything under limits, yes, you have to fix the home.
Okay, so that's where we're getting back to our point there. We got to distinguish between settlement and sinkhole, correct?
Right.
And I guess an engineer is the only one that can make that determination?
Well, yeah, they're not going to pay you if it's just a settlement issue. It wouldn't be covered under sinkhole policy. Okay, now I want to talk a little bit. One of my pet peeves is citizens insurance. If you take nothing away from the time we spent together today, I want you to, if you have citizens insurance, you're going to do everything you can to get rid of them. They are the worst insurance policy in the state of Florida right now. They are the insurance company of last resort. They will tell you that in their advertisements. And you may think that you can't get anybody else, but you know what? You may well be able to get another company to insure you. You have to check for yourself to see if there's other companies available. Now, it may be that the person you're getting your insurance from at the time cannot sell you anything other than Citizens. Okay, and if that's the case, you might want to get a second opinion and check with another provider and see if you can get insurance from another company. Citizens, there's so many reasons not to have them. I could do an hour show just on that.
What are some of the biggest problems that you see with Citizens Insurance, though? What are the red flags?
Well, first of all, they spend more money on lawsuits per claim, I think, than any company in the state. You pretty much, in a sinkhole scenario right now, you pretty much have to sue them to get paid. For instance, I had sinkhole coverage. I dropped it because what's happened with sinkhole coverage since Senate Bill 408 in 2011, your deductible is now 10% of your coverage. So, for instance, if you get a $500,000 policy, you have a $50,000 deductible. If you add to that if you have Citizens Insurance, you'll most likely have to sue them to get paid on a sinkhole claim. And we've seen some of the claims that have been out there where there have been conflicts with getting claims paid and houses have collapsed in the meantime. So if you add that 10% deductible of your coverage to the fact you're going to have to pay an attorney a pretty good percentage of your claim to get paid, and most sinkhole losses are not total losses, what's the point of having the coverage? You're better off, in my opinion, self-insuring. Talk to an insurance professional. Only you can make that decision. But it's just something I don't feel it's money well spent.
Now, if your home has had a remediated sinkhole, is Citizens the only ones that will insure it, or will other insurance companies get involved now?
No, there are other companies out there. I believe Lloyd's of London might be one of them. And again, your best bet would be to talk to an insurance professional. But there are other companies now writing coverage on sinkhole repair homes.
Okay, and the history of Citizens, let's refresh my memory on this. They came into the state back in, 2004, correct?
I don't know exactly the year they came in.
I think it was after the hurricanes that we had in that one real bad year back in 2004, and all the insurers fled the state, and then the state, if I'm correct, enacted the Citizens insurance company there to kind of be the insurer of last resort. And so, I mean, if your home, has a sinkhole claim and you don't have a sinkhole coverage, I mean, are you just kind of SOL? You got to walk away from it? I mean,
yes, it's no different than having a claim and having no insurance. If you don't have coverage for the peril, wind, water, sinkhole, fire, whatever it is, you wouldn't have coverage. You're not going to get paid by any insurance. You didn't purchase the insurance.
Now, have we noticed any? I guess you're not an insurance, agent, but I'm just trying to wonder. I mean, are there, more insurers coming into the state now and that are working with sinkhole coverage, or is it just still pretty much?
Not so much. There's a few I think that work with sinkhole coverage, and again, your best bet would be to talk to an insurance professional, and they'll tell you that there are more insurance companies coming to the state that are writing property coverages. Okay, and again, you want to check with your insurance people to see what's out there for you. Now, what you've got to watch is that your, when Citizens downsized, a lot of spin-off companies came out, and I call them red-headed stepchildren because they're just mini Citizens. And you want to make sure that you don't insure with one of them because they pretty much carried forth on the same policies and practices that Citizens did. But there's still plenty of good insurance companies out there, and at any given time, one might be available for you to place your insurance in your neighborhood.
Okay. Hey, a lot of great information, Jim. Real quick, how can listeners get in touch with you off the air if they have any more questions about the sinkhole claims process?
Well, you can reach me by phone. My number is 727-946-5761. And the website is www.castletocondo.com.
What is that again? That was kind of quick.
Castle to Condo.
Castle the Condo?
Right.
CastleTheCondo.com.
Yeah.
Well, Jim, thank you very much for coming on the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show. A lot of great information. And if you didn't catch his information, you can always find him up on the Tampa Bay radio site after the show as well. Jim, thank you very much.
Thank you.